So, any volunteers this morning? You want to do it again? Okay, so
Dear God, we thank you for allowing us to gather here today. God, we pray that you will cover everything that will take place. We pray that the information that will be disseminated will be of value to each person here. We pray that everything will honor you and that everyone will be filled with the information that definitely will practice in your holy name.
welcome again, those that are here yesterday, that are here, and those that are inviting someone to be here today. That means that you had an meal and made sure that you yourself, you need to come home. I want to just highlight something. After yesterday, I was contacted by a couple of persons reached out to, it drew my attention. A lot of us online asked what you all would receive, right? And they're asking, some of them might understand me academically, some of them can, but when we send it, which is no problem. But I'm saying this generally. As an entrepreneur, when there are opportunities that arise that you can enhance or you can better your skills or application of your business, reach out and grasp. Make yourself available. Being online is really pandemic. You didn't have a choice. But when you see interactive, it's a great time. So much this morning, everyone is watching. Whether the programs like these are often, try and see how it's it's no problem. And tell them no that the information that is in found or who are here that they have will be given by Okay, so this is Ms. John of NALIS. She'll give you all the information for those who are applying for the class.
Good morning again. Those who would like to request a package, you can send an email to simone@simon.jhn@nalis.gov.tt or POS@pl@gmail.com. Right? So thank you very much.
Great. Great. So those who are on and also looking at our stream, we will have that information for you too as well. Because accessibility, we want to make sure everyone has that access, right? So we're going to dive into Yes, we had a development. Today we want to get a little more. You're going to have a very powerful speaker by the name of Mr. He is one of those young men who definitely have a passion for entrepreneurship as well as a passion for life. He is a person say not just but also one that goes above and beyond to show that development of persons that is definitely a mandate for him, right? So yes, touched the job those that are here yesterday. I hope that those that are I always believe Jahar is one of those important factors. So in your package, you will see where Jahar, there is a diagram, and there is one explanation to the front. So you actually not just see the diagram, each individual represents, and it also gives you an opportunity to read and understand how you can apply it. So as I discussed, there are four quadrants in India, everything has right. So there are four days, right? There is an open, there is a blind window, there is a hidden window, and an unknown window. Each one of these windows represents a different aspect of yourself. Yes, your open self, your blind self, your hidden self, and your unknown self. Now, we are so on outskirts, you have where unknown to others, known to others, known to self, unknown to self. And this is how so in your open area, you are taking information that is known to yourself and known to others. That's your open area. That's the area that's the thing about you that no one will understand. Yes, you speak about that's your open. People are not afraid of your open area. That is something that they are comfortable with. That's your open. All right, so it's you, one. Everyone here? This is to make sure that those who are right? So those who are online, we have been technical, but we will back up, right? And I will introduce myself because I don't want to this. Mic check. You had to turn it up on the to see. 1, 1, 1, 1. Great. Nice. So for those online, for those who are on the stream, if you were hearing me before, I told you all, and I'm going to say it now because I guess some persons were not hearing, and we were getting a reverb. It was literally echoing. We had some technical difficulties, hence the reason we were off audio for, that's about, what, 5 minutes? About 5 minutes or so. But our great technical team and support staff of Livestream TT, and let me shout out Livestream TT one time. Livestream TT is responsible for the beautiful quality that you all are seeing, and it's still not what they can do. It's in 1080p, but it can also be done in 4K. Livestream TT, shout out to Shane Fraser, who is the man in charge and sitting down there making sure that you all can see what's happening here. All right? So we apologize for the little technical difficulties there, but in quick time, we are back out. So we are talking about the Johari window, all right, once again. So we had reached the unknown area, and like I said, it's a scary area because you have a skill that you don't know, and the public, your friends, your family may also don't know. And these two squadrons here, you see hidden area and the unknown area in the Johari window. 80% of entrepreneurs live here. They live right here. And it's a scary thing. Reason being is because a lot of the times they have the answers that people are looking for with their questions. They have it. But either they know it and don't want to expose it, or they know it, they don't know it, and they're not trying to find out. The unknown area is an area where persons have to do a lot of research. You might get up in the morning, you're a morning person, and you like to make fruit salads. But you just take it as, I like to eat fruits, so I'm making a nice fruit salad, and you like that. But you're not even realizing that your neighbors like fruit salad too. You're not even realizing that your workspace have a lot of healthy persons. They like fruit salads too. And you will never know that unless you seek that information out, unless you try to see how you could research it. So the unknown area, in order to come out of the unknown area, this is where you have to do a lot of market research, and this is where you have to make a lot of observations. If you want to become an entrepreneur, shout out to this gentleman. He was here yesterday. He broke a barrier that a lot of entrepreneurs need to break, and it's called vision. He observed two businesses, literally, I could say, lying on the streets. Two businesses, and he took the opportunity and developed those business and monetized it. I could say that, right? Correct. He saw it, right? And this is a workshop, so we like to be, we like to be hands-on, we like to be interactive. So his story was that he was liming with friends and saw bottles on the streets, heaps of bottles for carnival season, and tell himself, wait now, these bottles just laying around. Went and got his van, crocus bag, load up. How much you made that year? $14,000. While everybody looking to drink lime and wine, $14,000 on the streets. Literally, just laying around. They came back, no bottles for carnival, cans. Say, well, all right, that probably his business going to die. This gentleman, being a visionary, saw another business. Ice. Vendors need ice. And he had the van. He had the coolers. And this is after the bottles, he got into another business with fish. So he has coolers, he have ice, he have transport. How much you made that year? $17,000. So understand that he came from this because he didn't know I could sell bottles and make money. He didn't know that these vendors would have needed ice. They didn't know that either. So he came out, and this is why I said he broke a barrier. So he came out of this unknown area and stepped over here into the open area. And this is where you, as an entrepreneur, move from having an idea to developing a business. Having a vision. A lot of the times, and let me tell you this, God gives you a sneak peek of what he has for you in what people call an imagination. If you could imagine something, trust me, it could be done. I'll say that again. If you could vision and imagine something, it can be done. You might be living in a 3-bedroom house and tell yourself, I feel like I could build a split level. And you see in the house, and you see in the cupboards, and you see in the tiles. That's a preview. You now have to take that into consideration and say, okay, what do I need to do to get there? And there now you have motivation. So you're going from vision to motivation because now you have a goal. And we talk about the 595 rule, right? 5% thoughts, 95% action. 595 rule. 5% thoughts, 95% action. As he said yesterday, don't just see it and sit down and ponder on it and write it down. It's good to write down. Make sure and write down your things because you mightn't be able to deal with it one time. Write it down and go back to it. And when you go back to it, start to act on it immediately because I showed them the example. A lot of the times, persons in trying to come out of here, to get here, they have an idea about something, but they sit down pondering on it. I want to sell my pela, you know, but them plastic containers expensive. I feel I'll use Cyrotex. But then how I go look if I sell in Cyrotex? And you there beating up your head. Nobody is going to eat the plastic. Nobody is going to eat the Cyrotex. They're going to eat the content. The content. And I'd like to tell people about this. How much times you go to an Indian wedding and sit down and eat on a fig leaf? Has any one of us have had such a privilege? Thank you. It's real good. I don't know what does be in that fig leaf that does add a flavor. But you know what I like? Money saved. Money saved. To the point where I think Massey sells fig leaf now. You see? So imagine that. Now, that is another visionary. So they must see, wait now. People buying this thing to make pastel, to think the food. Well, fig leaf for sale. I think where you could go by the neighbor and say, just what 3 leaf, eh? What you could get for free. They have monetized it. And look at that. Nobody complains at the Indian wedding with all your treats on your fig leaf. And here the next thing, no spoon, no fork. You had a bunje. Yeah, I grew up amongst a lot of Indian people, so I know the terminologies. You had a bunje. You had to roll it. And the better your bunje, is more finger licking. And I feel like where KFC get that from and the thief that from we and that finger licking thing. Because when you're done bunje, you had to lick all your wrists. All your wrists. But I'm just showing you how it is that we stay procrastinating on little things and it keeps you back from the greater part of your business. 5% thought, 95% action. You have the idea, time to develop it. Time for a lot of entrepreneurs to come out of that hidden and that unknown area. Because the world has something that they want and you have it to provide for them. I like to speak up myself too as well. Testimony is good. I developed a way of booking flights, booking your packages using technology. Less interaction, and you don't even have to go to a travel agency. In 2020, when people were not supposed to interact with each other, it's not supposed to what, but you still want to book, you still want to get your things done. Travel agencies closed what? In 2020, because of the system that I designed, I was given WTTC certification for safe travel. That's World Tourism Travel Center. My company was given that certification in 2020 because they saw the necessity of something that I designed since 2013. From an idea. And this is another part of development as an entrepreneur. Your idea may not be recognized at the present time. That does not mean that your idea is invalid. I'll say that again. Your idea may not be recognized at the present time, but that does not mean that your idea is invalid. Hold on, work with it. I held on and I worked with it in Tobago. And it turned out to be just what was needed to get the economy, to get stuff going, morning, to get things going. So hold on to your idea, work on it, keep developing. I have developed so much different aspects of my program that even now, if you're traveling with me, you have questions that ask you like, do you have allergies? Would you need wheelchair assistance? That's how deep we go. And the reason we do that is because I keep researching and seeing where there are different niches. And that is part of developing your idea. You want to sell nuts? If there's some way going down the road, you could see where you could move nuts from this type of package to this type of package and it's economically viable. Don't be afraid to try it. The avenue, as we call it in Port of Spain, you know what that was? And now there is a hub for where you could get, I can't even tell you how much different type of food. Look at that now. A whole area basically designed for culinary. Queen's Park, Savannah. You know how much vendors it have there now selling food? A lot. And varied types of food. I went there the other night and I saw this guy and his wife and they're selling homemade wine. But what I like about what he was doing, he do something what we talked about yesterday, a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid to do. Give a sample. They're calculating, that's a whole bottle. I end up losing out on $80. Bro, how you could lose $80? If from that, now, let me show you how this maths works, right? $80 you're selling your bottle for. But you can get probably 30 samples from that one bottle. Follow me, right? $80 for your bottle, 30 samples that you are giving out for free. And from that 30 samples, I'm going with the least numbers. 3 persons buy that didn't know about your product. 8 trees are how much? How much? 24. $240. Did you lose? To those that are out there, don't restrain your product because you're calculating small overhead costs. Part of being an entrepreneur is understanding business and understanding that if it is that you have to factor in something as an overhead, factor it in. Factor it in. If you look at large companies, when you go in the supermarkets and they have plenty giveaways, we think the purpose of that is to have you entertained while you're pushing your cart? No. That is to sell the product. That is to sell the product. And they understand that. I ain't going to give out the secret, but there are certain incentives for large companies when they give out. There are certain write-offs. That's a whole nother topic. But these are the things that they do because they understand that if it is, I am looking for an expansion of my demographics. We talk about demographics. Demographics means the persons to whom you would like to sell your product or your service to. If I'm looking to expand my demographic, I need to invest in myself. This is another thing as an entrepreneur. You giving away a sample is you investing in yourself. I am selling me. This is my product. Why are we staying here? Why are we staying here? And you have a big open here. This is where a lot of persons would love to go. Go ahead.
I have a next thing to that. Well, I give it out, you know. But I sell them it.
Right.
Selling it. But what I guarantee you, I say, hey, if you don't come back to you.
Right. And
I guarantee you it.
let me tell you something about that too as well, right?
Come back to your money, right?
Do you know that there are some places online that gives you 30-day money back guarantee? Mainly correct. America is by USA. And there's a purpose behind that. And that's our next workshop. That's a whole nother workshop. But I just want to highlight, I like how your pen and your fingers are friends. No, that's good. Because I was telling them that yesterday. Don't let your pen and your hand fall out. Your pen and your hand supposed to be your best friend. You're always noting something. I showed them an example yesterday, and this is scientifically proven, right? Persons who now spend a lot of time on social media doing this, right? That scientifically proven, it reduces your retainance. Scary, huh? Every time you keep doing this, if you go back in your brain without pulling down, just go back and say, what was the 10th thing I look at? You will not remember. Challenge yourself. You will not remember. You'll have to scroll back down to make sure. It is scary. It reduces your retainance. That's a little sideline fact for you all. And the reason that I'm bringing it in parallel with writing is because if you are scrolling and you see something, either you copy and save the link. WhatsApp has a thing now that you could message yourself. You know that, right? You could message yourself on WhatsApp now. No, normal. Yeah. Yeah, you could normal WhatsApp. You could WhatsApp yourself. I'll show you my phone. I could WhatsApp myself. And that now is what I use when I say I'm going through and I see something I like, copy and save the link, send it to myself. I am messaging me because the information is for me. I ain't even send it to someone else. Now, I have other numbers, business numbers, I can send it to as well. But the bottom line is that I am making sure that I find an avenue to save that info. Another thing that you all have in everybody's smartphone, there's something called notes, which a lot of people don't use. They just have it as an app. It's not even on the home screen. Correct. And it is a great tool. It also comes where you can record with voice, and it will convert it to words after. So if you can't type everything, because you might forget, record it. And it will convert it to words. There are too many tools available for entrepreneurs now for them to say, I don't. And I just get cringe when I hear it, because some of these things are right there. in the pocket every day. They're walking around with it. But you know what? I want to see the latest dance on TikTok. And I want to see, hey, look at this bacchanal. And the rice burning on the stove that you could have just sold to 50 people. But this bacchanal sweet. Focus. You have a business idea. You have a concept. Come out into the open area. Make it known to yourself. Make it known to others. Develop your business. Develop your craft. Develop your idea. Don't be afraid. I started off as a tailor. Mommy didn't have enough money to pay for me to go. I left Hillview College with 8 passes, including GC Economics. I wrote GC Economics in Form 5 and got a B+, because it's a Cambridge subject. It was supposed to be only in Form 6. I wrote it in Form 5 to challenge myself, because I always like business. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. At the age of 7, I asked my mom to buy me a Monopoly set. She didn't understand what was Monopoly. I saw it on a black and white TV that we had home, Magnum. That is the one you had to push the button and turn the channels. We didn't have this. You had to turn, click, 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 click. To get a channel, Monopoly set. My mom told me, she said, I know you will get into business. She said, you know why? I was an only child until 10. I love to read. So she used to buy a lot of books for me. I am taking cardboard, sometimes the cock set box. Because I like the cock set. Me grew up in no mansion. I had a light cock set. I'm taking the cock set box and I'm marking price and I'm putting it on the books, on the bed. I come in on this side. How much for this book? 20. I come in on the next side. 20 if I have it now. I am selling me. My mom tell me, my grandmom used to tell her, you got to carry that boy and check him, because this boy is talking to himself. Listen, no, I had 2 imaginary friends called Yaya and Pingy. I don't know. I don't know where I came up with it, but it just goes to show. And Yaya would negotiate with me on this side. Pingy is my salesperson on this end. And I am buying with the Monopoly money. So my grandmom, after a while, she says, he go be in business. He didn't have no, you see that what he doing there? I don't understand it, but so my mom, as poor as we were, I'd not like to say poor, as financially challenged we were, my mom used to get up 4 o'clock in the morning, shout out to all the moms. Shout out to the moms. Mommy used to get up 4 o'clock in the morning to go and get a bus for 6 o'clock in Kunupe that will take her to Lavantil. She was an upholsterer. That's the time that she leaving. And from my house to the corner, I could see it. And she is not bending that corner without coming back to make bye-bye. My mom is alive now. Still, thank God. My grandmom, God rest her soul, passed away 2 years ago. But those 2 ladies made sure, as I told you, I passed for Hillview College. I wrote, well, that time it was common entrance. I wrote common entrance, age 9, I didn't turn 10 yet. Because common entrance, well, now is SEA. That's normally in March, right? My birthday is in April. I turned 10 after I write common entrance. So I am 10 years old and going secondary school. And that's because I skipped first year. They did a test. I went into second year. Skipped standard 3. I went into standard 4. So I skipped twice and went to Hillview. But I grew up in a house where you had to walk because the board flooring could fall on you. I know about sky roof before Brian Lara. Because when you lie down by me, it's the stars with the amount of hole in the galvanized. When rain fall, you have to find a corner. You have to put pan. I'm not ashamed. I told my mom and my grandmom, I said, before either of you all pass away, I'll make sure that when rain falling, you do have to study nothing. Thank God. My grandmom died where rain was falling and she could have sleep. When I started to go John D from Hillview, they say, I'm mad. You are 8 passes. Where the hell you going John D to do tailoring? I had a vision. I like clothes. So I used to be drawing pants and shit. I don't have enough money. You know what I did? They teach us to make ties within the first month. I used to come on Frederick Street in the morning. I just need to sell 1 tie. 1 tie is $40. That is lunch, passage to go back home, and passage to come back tomorrow. Every day, I'm looking to sell at least 1 tie. John D was September, and I kid you not, go in Konupia, they go ask you, they go tell you, was the baddest tailor. By December of that same year, I had about 102 clients. Making pants, top, tie. I used to go 3 steps further. I making your watch band. Full kit. Then I saw how you could make bags. My mom was a upholsterer, remember I tell you, right? So she showed me how to do an invert stitch and line and put pipe in. So you're getting a top, pants, watch band, bag. I ain't playing. See that shit where you wear? I used to make some of that. Kenchi shirt. Yeah? I used to make Kenchi shirt. And I go in south. I go in penal. Because down south, they get the styles, but they get it late. I move in with a suitcase with about 6 dozen Kenchi shirt. That costing me about $80 to make with my labor. And I'm selling back at $170 because a Kenchi shirt was selling for $350 and $300. So I am giving someone an opportunity to make 80 to 90% profit on something locally made, but represented outside, and I am providing an income for myself. I expanded it 2 steps further. I started to make swim pants and bathing suits because I realized I had plenty female customers for whatever reason. Took the female customers, bring a bathing suit for me, I get the pattern. I had to make bathing suits. Start to export to Barbados. Take the EC and buy turkey legs in St. Lucia and ship it to Trinidad. What I was sending out was worth $6,000. What was coming back after the conversion with the sales of the turkey legs was $11,000. Entrepreneurship is fun. It is fun when you apply yourself. That vision that you have inside of you, that passion that you're yearning after, start to research, start to look at where you could develop your skills even more, and begin to contribute not just to society, but to yourself. As I tell you, I come from single parent. So when I hear a fella say, the reason I do it because I grew up single mother, I wanted to tap. You're making an excuse. My drive was to, as I tell you, make sure my mother and my grandmother come out of this old house. And I'm sorry, I don't have a picture here to show you. I just walk with it. I ain't ashamed. If you know what tapia. Tapia is when you mix cow dung and you put grass in it. I grew up in a tapia house. Concrete on the outside, concrete paste over cow dung and grass. No brick.
Tapia House. My goal was to take my parents out of that because I saw what God had in front of me. And let me tell you this as an entrepreneur, people would not understand your vision and your gift. Don't be scared. Say thank God. Because he didn't give it to them. He gave it to you. And there's a reason why he gave it to you. Because you have something, another word, that you could overcome procrastination with. And it also starts with P. Purpose. Purpose. I don't want to go far, but I like to go far. But I'm going to take you all a little deeper because we have in our midst a gentleman of my heart, my comrade, my village man, if I want to call it. And this brother, younger than me, but represents an aspect of humanity, society, and entrepreneurship that those who are here today is an honor, and those who are locked on, you all are about to be given some insights from a gentleman whom, like I said, is not just a philanthropist. He's a humanitarian, and he's a human. So without further ado, yes? Mm-hmm. It will be on YouTube, and before you leave, I will send you the link that you can get it directly. All right? Nice. All right, so without further ado, I want to introduce you all to the one and only Mr. Rondell Fields. A round of applause here.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me. I now understand how much you said charging for them Kenchi shoot, how much profit you say me. But it's good to be here. I'm glad Brent recommended me to be a part of this. As Brent said, I know him my whole life. We know each other. When they say from nothing to something, we have a very, very similar story. I know this gentleman uncle too. His uncle was one of the first men that actually mentored me without even knowing he mentored me. And that's one of the major parts. And from me, you're going to get experiential knowledge, not theoretical. I'm going to give you like I know it, how I learned it from on the ground. And his uncle was one of the men I used to look at driving truck. He go here, go there, nobody to answer him. Nobody to, for him to answer to rather. And I always wondered what he did to be in such a position. And for some reason, he took a liking to me. And he said, let me tell you something from that age. He said, when you grow up, always aspire to be your own boss. And that stuck with me. And that developed the type of mindset I needed to go where I wanted to go. It didn't have no business idea development unless you have the right mindset. You must have mindset to facilitate whatever you want to aspire to be in your life. That is the driver. That is what will motivate you. That is what will help you later on when you develop a business, to develop policies to make a business sustainable. That is what will help you develop strategy to make a business attractive. Having the right mindset. That is what will commit you to continue even when you're failing or even when you feel you're not prospering. Mindset. If we're talking about having the right mindset, then I don't understand the meaning of the word procrastination. You follow me? It means the right mindset will fuel the right behavior, the right type of passion for what you're doing, the right type of drive to keep you doing it. Just like everybody else. I went to school. I went to St. George's College. A single mother raised me too, from Grenada as well. We didn't have much. We was luckier than him. We didn't live in a tapia house, but we live in a house that she couldn't even pay for. Thank God it had bacchanal between the developer and the bank that we get to live in it free. Or else I'd be living nowhere too. We get 20 years of free lodging, thank God. Until I reach a position I could have buy it for she before she died. So, we come from humble beginnings. I came from humble beginnings. Never knowing where you're going to end up, but always having that drive and that mindset. And I had to thank my mother too. Mine dead and gone. She was a common entrance teacher. One of the best there ever was. She teach at Lucia's private school for years. Teach some of the best that ever passed through there, Mrs. Fields. But the mindset that she helped inculcate in myself and my brother is to never give up. And she did that not only by telling us, but by the life she lived. Generally, we don't have, she will never say she don't have. I never hear my mother call herself a single mother yet. You know what she say? She just say, God is she husband. I have never heard my mother. He might have known my mother too. I have never heard my mother call herself a single mother yet. She always had the mindset that she had something else sustaining her and her children. And we never get hungry yet. We stay in people's house at times, but we never got hungry as yet. And those things were the things from childhood. When you look back and you introspect on your life, you realize those little lessons that you learn, those little behavioral patterns, is what sometimes you carry on into your future, even into your business, Don't think having a business idea is just sit down today and, hey, I want to do this, and you go out and execute it. It's the type of person you generally are, which is fueled from the type of mind that you have, which is fueled many times from the lessons you were taught, sometimes from smaller, by your parents, by strangers like his uncle, by others you saw on television, by the content you read, by the content you look at, which is the next part of fueling the mindset through the right type of content you look at. You can't be on TikTok watching shopping whole day and expect to be entrepreneurial because you watch some Kawasaki or whatever his name is videos and feel special. You have to have it embedded in you, and you have to set out to do it. So I would have gone to school. I wasn't the best at school. I was never dunce, but I just didn't like school. I used to go because I had to go. My mother wouldn't let me stay home. Most times she wouldn't know if I ain't go sometimes. I gotta be honest. But school, you can't tell, school was not one of my fondest places. I used to go. I like the little basketball. I enjoy those things. But doing the academic thing just wasn't there for me. I always had the drive. I always feel in school I ain't learning something. I always feel with that time, I could have been doing something else that could have earned a little dollar. It might sound stupid to you, but in my mind I used to feel like I come in and do trigonometry, I come in and do calculus, I come in and do all kind of thing, periodic table. Why go and do that when I come out of here? And that was my thinking. My brother, on the other hand, was an academic genius. He went to Hillview too. Best in the island and this. 10 passes, this. You pass it till you can't check. That is the reality of it. Because that is what we was driven by. And it's fine. All people and children are built differently. Some are driven academically, and you possibly as a parent, you watch and you push them in that direction. And some are driven in a different way. Some of them are gifted with their hands. Some of them gifted when it comes to song, when it comes to writing. And sometimes we don't look at our gifts as opportunity for business too. Never. And I find that is one of the most foolish things. Look at the greatest singers. We feel they're doing, that's a gift that they have from God that they monetize. I don't understand how tilemen don't see that gift. Carpenters don't see that gift. Masons don't see that gift. Plumbers sometimes don't see that gift. Electricians don't see that gift. One of the business I invest in is building buildings, not for people, for myself, for Airbnb, rental, and these kind of things. And I try my best to inculcate that in my workers. Because they are some of the most talented when it comes to sealing, when it comes to all the parameters of building buildings for me. But when I look at their personal advancement, they will continue to be employees forever until they understand the value of monetizing their gift. And I see that for everybody. Because sometimes you think a business idea must be something you sit down, you read about, and you have to execute it. It must be something that you must buy to sell, something you have to import to sell, not looking that it could be something inside of you. How many women learned they had the ability to crochet? I saw women, my sister-in-law included, who learned to crochet during COVID. You know? Learn to crochet during COVID. And most definitely, we had to support her and encourage her. Hey, just don't crochet for yourself. Crochet for other people. Teach people to crochet. Open an online crochet course. Give your crochet branding. Because now you have a skill that other people don't have. I can't crochet nothing. So if I want anything crochet, it means I have to buy it. Simple. And that is what I want people to understand. You could identify something. It's not that just something that could become the greatest business idea for you to develop. It's not sometimes you have to go searching for it or you have to see somebody else doing it and are doing it too. Yes, sometimes if you have the capital to do so and you see somebody doing a business and you could get in and do the same thing, fine. But sometimes it is the things that is immediately around you that only you could do, that we do not take the opportunity to monetize and capitalize on. If it's one thing, and that's what I was telling Brent, I want people for sure to add on to the business development idea was the topic here, unwrapping your gift. Because many people have gifts. Sometimes a woman just have a gift. She accustomed doing it for your boyfriend, for your own self, putting together the place. And you don't realize it's a gift you have that you could monetize. When I done build a building and it looking nice, I don't know what furniture to put inside it. Because I just don't have that gift. And people don't understand that there's always a demand sometimes for your gift. So stop looking at everybody else sometimes and start looking at yourself and looking at the resources around you. And it takes the right mindset to see those things. You can't have a negative mindset. I can't do this. I tried this before and it failed. And I do that and it failed. This go fail too. I don't have the experience. I didn't go to school to do this. I went to school I didn't do one business subject. Not one. And I never worked for nobody in my life yet. Ever. Never. I never sent a resume, no way in my life. From the age of 16 to now. I started selling foreign used cars from the age of 16. When I came out of St. George's College, I get trees. When I know them days trees are, it's like what they tell me I have a forest. My brother laughing. My mother vexed because she's a real educator. Eh? You go and I said to school, this you only want to play basketball. So you're feeling like rubbish. You understand? But I always remember coming to that report boy, and I say, boy, my mother got real on me. And as a man see me looking sour with this paper in this maxi, I never see the man in my life again. And the man said, why you looking so? I said, but I do real bad and sexy. He said, but you get trees, you know what trees are past now? I said, not in my house. He said, well, what you going and do about it? And that stick with me forever. What you going and do about it? And I say, yeah, well, I going back and do sexy at my cost, my expense. So I had to find some way to earn a little money. I talk about your uncle again. I'm sorry to point at you, but I never tell you come today. I went and tell him, I say, what, you have phone to answer? I go answer phone. While I answering phone for his uncle, who was a truckman and in Wassa and wherever, while I answering phone, I reading and teaching myself maths, you know. All the years I sit down in the people class and I waste time. I teaching myself maths because at that point, I'm still not sure which direction I'm going and go. But I just want to stop feeling like a failure. The thing that hit me the most with that CXC, because in my mind, I know I was never a stupid fella, you know. And I didn't apply myself, and I reaped the results of that. So if it was just to make me feel better, to pass these subjects, I wanted to do that. So I set out to do those subjects, and while I was doing that, I ended up leaving by his uncle, and I said, boy, I didn't really want to work for nobody. So I started selling CDs off my brother's computer. So when he gone, because sometimes it's bacchanal with tea and all, you know, Roger has gone, right? He have a 2X burner. Them days, yes, days to make a CD, trust me. A 2X burner. And I had to thief a chance to burn it too, eh? So I'm a little burner, I'm a little blank CDs, and I'm burning the little music, downloading it from a place they used to call Napster in those days. I thank God for Napster. You understand? And I started doing that, and I started to enjoy that feeling of independence. I remember the first $3,000 I make from burning, and because them days I see the was about $250. I sell a whole Sizzler album for $65. I got my maxi stand. You want Sizzler, I give you Sizzler and Bujo if you want. You can't get that in the store because they only want to sell one artist. I give you what you want. So in them days, we know what the burning era was. I will never get a cup for that now. But anyhow, that is where I started, to tell the truth. And that is where I started. But it taught me, or I would say provided me with a sense of confidence. I felt self-employed. I was self-employed, as a matter of fact. I was paying for myself to do my own maths. I started to feel like, hey, my mother can't say I'm putting an additional burden on her. I'm taking care of myself. And I felt good. I tell you, when I see the little Scotia bank receipt, my mother had to go with me to open my bank account because I was only 16 at the time. And I felt accomplished to know I do this by myself with real hours, burning on that 2X drive. And later down the road, there was a development of this thing called the foreign use industry, where a man could get to bring a car and own his car for himself. Them days, knockdown was the thing. Bamboo was running with knockdown. But now the roll and roll of development had come into place. Bazio Pandey had said, hey, you could import your car for yourself. You couldn't do it as a dealer as yet, but you could have imported it for yourself. And I will give the man Uncle kudos again. So, he said, boy, you know how to use a computer? Well, I don't know how to go on the computer and burn CD, go on the people's internet, find out how to do certain things. Them days, the search engine was Ask Jeeves. So you go and ask Jeeves in them days. But I already done date my age already, right? And Jeeves will tell you how to do certain things, bring you up to certain websites and these things. So I say, yeah, I wasn't too sure as yet, but I wasn't going to let that opportunity pass. You see, I have some people in the bank, about 4 people who wanted to bring this foreign use card thing. You feel you could find out? Bet your bottom dollar I found out. My older brother was dabbling in it a little bit. I went to get information from him. I went to the Ministry of Trade. Those days it was in Riverside Plaza. Little boy, you know, still 16, eh? Went to the Riverside Plaza. They gave me information as into what I need to do to import a car for myself. And at that point, I started to be the middleman. And at that age, at 16, he brought the first 4 customers to me. And after the first 4 customers, that was it. I didn't even need them again. Because after that, I started to build the manner I dealt with them even at the age of 16. I had the right mindset. They were impressed that I was young, the way I managed myself, getting the little experience from selling the CDs too, and understanding the value of separating the little profit I make to reinvest and the original capital I had to put back. Those little things went a far, far away so that when people brought their money to import the car, because I didn't have that kind of money as yet, I understood that the profit would come later in the last tranche. Many of my friends tried the same thing at my time. Many of my family did as well, and many of them failed because of that. That financial management skill And that financial, being able to be complacent, not complacent as in lazy, but I will say being able to manage well and not be over-aggressive, because some got very over-aggressive and started to ship 10 and 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 going on the road, and they didn't have the capital to deal with it. It helped me to manage the importation of those cars. And piece by piece, I was able to then continue order and build a capital base for myself, start now telling the people to give me less down payment while I start to help them carry the load as well, because now everybody else had started doing it. So some people who had money and some people who possibly were working and had their little savings down, they had an advantage, because now they were telling you, hey, what, come and buy it from me, you don't have to pay nothing. When you go buy them fellas, they might rob you. People in the industry at that point in time started to take people down payment and not give them cars as well. So the only thing you had to go on there was your trustworthiness and your historical value when it came to other customers. Reference by past customers to know this man not going to thief your money. This boy who bedroom you're going in, not going to thief and take your money from you. Thank God, I believe, always say now, looking back at it, it had to be my mother prayers for big people to come in and see a little boy and trust him with that kind of money that people must work so hard for. And I always use that as motivation too. To consider how hard I work to make $3,000, I put myself in the person position as well. So I never was frivolent with anybody's funds, because I understood how much it was for me to make 3, how much it is for them to make 40, how much it is for them to make 50. So I put myself in the customer position, and it caused me to have a greater respect for them coming to patronize with me and them coming to support me. And that pushed me to an era where I am now. Later on, the industry turned into the industry it is now, where you can now be a dealer. It has been so possibly for the last 20 years or so. I, at that time, didn't miss an opportunity again and went and registered myself. Made the applications I needed to make at that point in time. You know, many people didn't do it, who was doing the same personal import like me, and decided, nah, we'll go next year. Nah, we'll go the year after. Nah, lo and behold, to hear that, boom, they cut off the number of dealers who could have registered. So many people wanted to get in after, but because they procrastinated, they didn't get a chance to. Never miss an opportunity. And because I know I didn't have no passes to fall on, I understood the value of me not missing the opportunity. I was able to open the business, and because I had such I was there since it began and I knew so much about it, during the whole pioneering of this thing, we would have been met with a number of issues when it comes to age importation. Some of you all may be aware of it, when it came to taxes and these kind of things. And eventually, you know, it must happen, change of government, and certain legislations would change, regulations rather would change. And it came for a point us to have to advocate. And at that point, at the age of 26, by then, 10 years after, I was selected the vice president of the Foreign News Association. I'm still the vice president 13 years after. So I tell you all that to show you the value of mindset. I remember going on the port, Brent. Those days it was a TDMA phone. And when you turn on the phone, it used to give you a message. And the message I had was never give up. Because it was never easy, you know. I was always at a disadvantage. Every single time. When I come, I'm looking too young. If they didn't think he's a thief, I was at a disadvantage in the bank. Don't let me tell you. I'm too young. I had the wrong race too. I had to be real because I had to tell you that. I had to leave banking in Central and bank in Tongue for that reason. Let me be real with all you. Because I don't want it to continue. Now everybody know me on TV. They're glad for me to bank anyway. But then, a 16-year-old, 17-year-old boy, because they were seeing something that don't look normal or abnormal, a couple of times, sir, stand up at the side, let me call and make sure. That is you. You understand? So as I tell you, it was never easy. It was always harder. I came into an industry that even though I was there a long time, it had men who just jump in, but had capital one time, whose parents would have done the right thing, left generational wealth for them. I can't vex with them. They did the right thing. And because of that, they taking the opportunity, was given an immediate advantage. So we can't even talk business development unless you understand the end game must be to leave generational wealth. That must be the end game of your business, because you not going to live forever. But you know what can live forever? That business name. We know very popular businesses that are living right now and the founders are dead. That could live on forever. So, it was an unfair portion. I wouldn't say unfair. It was hard for me, challenging for me, because I came from nothing. So you had to build the foundation. And I always say that I'm glad I get that experience. I had to be the man when my sons and them get big. You know, when you go in them store, they put the picture when I'm dead. They put the picture on the wall. And then somebody, the Hindu store, they say they put the little flower thing around. I want flowers too, because I work real hard. You understand? I just tell them that. I want to put everything you had to put on that picture. Because on the things that I would have learned, they will never have that experience. No matter how I communicated to them, they are my second generation, and bet your bottom dollar, I have teach them everything about banking you could think about. If you see I pick them up and I go into the bank, they go to the bank with me. They sit next to the teller with me. They understand income, they understand expenditure, they understand cash flow, they understand equity investment, they understand every single thing that I do from now. You know why I teach them that? Because school is teaching them that. So part of your business development is passing what you learned to your offspring. Your business don't end with you, especially if it starts with you. If you plan for it to end with you, well, then you ain't have no vision. If everything you're doing now is just for you and for your enjoyment, then you ain't have no vision and go stop right where you started, with you. Continuation, sustenance, stability is important when you're talking about true business development. Passing that generational wealth. And to pass that efficiently, your children must understand how it was acquired, what you went through, what you did, so that they pattern some, they have it easier, but they understand the core from which it was generated. So even they have a better appreciation for it. You can't give them nothing easy. You cannot give them nothing easy and don't expect them not to waste it. You have to teach them the lessons that you would have learned yourself through trial and error. Everything I learned was through trial and error. You have to make the journey for your descendants a lot easier than it was for you. Because your plan is to have this business go on, have this generational wealth passed down, have the business sustainable, not for 10 years and 15 years, but for hundreds to go. You have Rockefeller empires that for years upon years, hundreds of years since slavery, and still the wealthiest that have and gaining more wealth. So this is the way you need to think. This is the mindset you have to have. This is the direction you need to go. You need to be able to see things before they happen. You have to be innovative. You have to be a chameleon. You have to be able to adapt. That's the kind of mindset you have. You see right now what's going on in Trinidad with Forex. I'm giving all some of my own personal little insights. I don't like to get too much, but I'm giving all some of my own personal insights. One of my business moves is that you have to become like some of the conglomerates and earn Forex more than anything else. A millionaire with TTs and with TT making sense, you know. You have set a TT that worth nothing anywhere else in the world. And you can get 15, 20, 30, 100,000 to make any meaningful investment. That should tell you something. That now should produce in your mind. Your mindset should tell you, hey, I need to start to generate something that will make me globally valuable. So your mindset has to continue to grow as well. Not because I'm comfortable in Trinidad, I could buy what I want here, I could drive what I want here, I could go where I want here. Trinidad is only part of the world, and a very small part of it as well. There are many other countries you could go out to, many other types of investment that you could go and make outside. And if you monitor well, and as I say, your mindset working the right way, these are things you're going to notice. Find books also of persons who you've seen done it before you. I hate to read. But if it's one man book I read, is Sabgawon. One man book I read is Sabgawon, and I hate to read, and I enjoy reading it. Because I had an appreciation after for what he went through. And I always say that if his children know what inside of it, they might take it off the shelf. Because he is that honest inside of it. He's that bare, letting you know the value not only of the development of the business aspect, but the social growth within their community. What they came from, and how they build the community as a brotherhood, and how they developed themselves as a brotherhood and supported each other as a brotherhood until they became what they are. And I say to my African and East Indian people, if we're not careful, I'm not saying that's even wrong too, the Venezuelans might do the same thing. Because they're here for a purpose, to improve their living conditions. And we live in here. And the funniest thing is, when we leave and go out there, we kind of now understand to do that, So why, when we here in our natural habitat, we can't do the same and have the same drive and have the same mindset of development? People that came here, the Syrians came here, when you read that book, they came here with nothing more than being a merchant. Selling in the desert. When the man talk about his father and how he used to sell in the desert, you didn't see money at that time, but you saw good moral value that he was able to teach the children to work hard. Anthony Sabga dropped out of school. His brothers and them went QRC. He dropped out of school and started running the store, running the shop. Read the book. And you will see his drive, his determination. School couldn't handle him in his mind. And that is something, and I do say this to discourage people from their academic achievements or ambitions. But sometimes, and for some people who have a different drive, for some people who have a different level of determination, sometimes you want more. I always tell people, at least reach up to CXC. You could say you get your passes, reading, writing, arithmetic. It will make your journey easier. But to be quite honest with you, I have business partners who now learning to read and write, Now learning to read and write. I have a business partner I wouldn't call him name, who's a car dealer now, years like me. But he now learning to read and write properly. He used to sell chana and kurma and make plenty money doing it. And use that capital, to jump into that foreign news game that was lucrative at the time. So that's what I'm showing you. Sometimes we think so little of ourselves, or think that we can't do it, or think by working at 8 to 4 my whole life. Why I could do now? I can't leave my job as secure. There all kind of things to bring online, all kind of things to try your hand in. Your investment size now must be proportionate to what you want to do. You can't be crazy and take your whole salary and go and do it while. But there is opportunity for everybody. I tell everybody, if you're working 8 to 4 and you could open my parlor, open it. You want to be able to elevate yourself to that financial independence. There's no greater. You feel like I could do half of the social work I do with Single Fathers Association if I wasn't my own boss? You feel all the events and all the videos you see, you feel the government does pay for them thing? The back man? No. We ain't reached there yet. That, and I thank God for that. I just call it paying my tithes. The pastor could vex. But that is how I give back to society. You understand? That is how you give back to society, because part of your whole business concept must also be to take up your social responsibility, your corporate social responsibility. I can't grow in a neighborhood with Brent and them fellas. I don't say I know how much I make on them Kenchi shit. I'm glad. Them days was hard for me. But anyhow, I grew up, Brent, we know each other from small. Coming on our basketball court to sweat. You understand? Coming to take a sweat on our basketball court. To know a lot of the things I learned, I wouldn't lie. My father wasn't there. I had my mother guidance to know not to let fellas carry me into any drug-related thing, because he caught they used to sell drugs. But some of them fellas really kind of give me a little guidance in times, you know. When I didn't know father, boy, don't do this. Boy, don't get in this. Boy, don't get yourself in that. Boy, listen to your mother. Boy. I'm telling you. So, to become a businessman in the same community where fellas guide you, even when they didn't know they was guiding you, and don't give back to it, you have to be heartless, boy. That is my take. Because it have a next one on you on the basketball court. That is how I just look at it. It have a next one on me who thought he ain't going to have no way on the basketball court, on the football pitch, on somewhere who must get in trouble, who need a little guidance, or who need to see something. So as business people, that must be part of your concept too. And then people love people who does give back. So it does always benefit your business. Always. Because people love people that give back to society. And that's blessing from God too, for giving back. And I credit that to my mother too, because that's how she was. Everybody could have lived between the free house. I'm telling you, the free house full of people. You understand? So, when we're talking about business and development of business, I hope you all seeing the vast, one wide distance and things that it covers. It's not just, boy, you know, I have a good business idea. Let me see how to develop it and write down some points. Yeah, them things are important. But there's a whole mindset, there's a whole lifestyle, there's a whole being from inside of you. I always tell people, so you have to get yourself in that mental frame. You have to get your body in that mental design. That waiting for opportunity, always ready. I always tell my sons, I always tell people, you can't pray for rain and don't have a bucket waiting. Your bucket had to be waiting, a barrel, a container, something. Because when rain fall, and you have nothing, who you go vex with? The government again. The government don't give you nothing. They don't give you nothing. Government, rah, rah, rah. Simple as that. But you have to take advantage of opportunity. Simple. And even when you reach further in the business world, and you start to delve into mortgages and these kind of things, you want to take advantages. You want to make sure your credit rating good. Because at first, you know, they're going to hit you, you know. They're going to hit you with the loans and the whatever. But you now have to understand the banking system so good that you use debt to benefit you. So you look into equity investment and you hit them back. You understand? They go say they ain't getting hit because they're making money. Yes, man. Correct. Right. Correct. Yeah. I mean, and it's just not diversities and not just issues in business. Issues in life will pop up. It's hard for you to go and sell car, because in my personal experience, when I couldn't get to see my son. So what am I going to do about it? I had to fight the way I know to fight. You understand? I formed a whole association to fight it. Because I was accustomed to fighting. I had the mindset that you can't take away. I go in on TV to talk about car because I was already the vice president of the Foreign News Association talking about car on TV before I started Single Fathers Association. So if I have the strength and balls to go and fight for exemption and go and fight for the reduction of ages and go and fight for all this for motor car and introduction of hybrid and electric into the country, there's a advocacy that caused that. I had to have the same goal to fight for my son. Because he didn't only just represent the relationship we had, that was my heir and my sole heir at that point in time. So for him to carry my business, he had to have a close and intimate relationship with me. Of course, because I learned the struggle by going through the struggle. And so, as I said, in the situations where other persons who had generational wealth, they had a head start. So if you play in Monopoly, and I start by go, he start down by Park Place, to come back again by go. And that was the reality of it. So I understood from then the value of leaving generational wealth. The value of that. I often tell people, if your main goal to acquire wealth is to be able to buy things, you will be broke again. Surely, you will be broke again. It's deeper than that. It's a more unselfish position than that. It's about bringing financial freedom not to yourself, but to your generation. None must suffer after me. And that was my intent. And I'm telling you, none will suffer after me. Because you now have to make the right approaches, set up the right type of trust funds, set up the right type of wills. It's a big, this is what development is. It's not just about having a plan and executing the plan and then the business started to do good, boom, we reach. No. Sustainability. Well, then why go through all the drama? Why go through all the years? And if I know, as I explained to you all before, my sons didn't go through that. Some of them, the big one now start to travel. You know, the small one don't know what traveling feel like. I know it will be certain things that he cannot handle no matter how much I tell him because he did not have that intimate experience with it. So you have to put up safeguards in certain areas to make sure that what you wish to happen continues even if you are no longer here. I have it in place already. You know why? Because you're never too young for something to happen. And that is our next thing we procrastinate with. That is our next thing we take for granted. We think you will live forever. Your grandmother live 100 years. My father is 90. That is he. But long and short of the story, you had to put front in front of you. You understand? You had to take front. So I hope you all understanding how intimate business development is. Business development is something, at least for me, as I said, I can only teach it how I know it. It is something that is intimate. I always tell people I consider my business to be my first child. It is that close to me. It is because of my business I have some of the freedoms that I have. Freedoms and opportunity to do things. It still don't bring you total happiness, eh? It still don't bring you total joy. This belief where people feel that you acquire some kind of, looking as I just gave you the example, hey, TT lives, who serve in the war. I'm telling you, there'll be a better behavior. That was a strong entrepreneurial group of men who were not slaves. They call it Belmont now, but it's Freetown is the origination of it. And by educating yourself, you give yourself hope too. You give yourself historical hope, like, oh gosh, I don't have what it have, I never had what it have. Listen to people testifying to
Generations down the road, definitely. And sometimes we have to break something called generational curses. My sons, just like him, we share a lot, not just growing up together, you know, similarities, even with fatherhood. My sons and they're real close to me. As old as my son is, he just come humble. Daddy, here what going on there? Yeah. Humble. Not fear, respect. My second son, I had to go in school. He was going CIC. I had to go in school because he's buying cookies, chewing gum, and gummy bears and selling in the people's school. They called me in. He and 6 others. Suspension for 7 days. Big meeting. I wait till everybody done talk. And the principal asks anybody, any parent. I say, well, everybody's finished. I could speak. He say, yeah. I say, you all teach POB, mathematics, economics. He say, yeah. I said, these things are business subjects. Child, instead of getting shut down, expanded his business. He's not selling anymore. You can't tell me I'm selling. I'm not selling nothing. I am his supplier. And I watch him, and I say, a man tell me, say, yeah, Apple don't make grapes, you know. But it stems in line with what he said, that your children, and I'm a man, he's a male, we have a real duty to our seeds in passing on certain things to them. Whether we want to agree or not, they emulate us in little ways.